This evening, as we battle through the COVID-19 pandemic, how can businesses find a balance between sustainability and creating safe working conditions for its employees? We will discuss this and more now on Money Matters. Hello and welcome to Money Matters with me, Zahir Kelvinong Abdullah. While businesses are still navigating themselves through difficult times amid the COVID-19 pandemic, making the right moves matters in ensuring sustainability and stability. We welcome Juan Aranols, the Chief Executive Officer of Nestlé Malaysia Berhad, on the show to learn how they achieve this. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Nestlé has been in Malaysia for 108 years, so obviously there's been a lot of confidence here to remain in Malaysia doing business. So how has the company ensured sustainable growth over the years?
Well, indeed, 108 years, that's a long time. Basically, we have been building this business over many generations of Nestlé leaders, of Nestlé employees that have put a lot of effort in developing the company. And I think that we have built trust. When you look at what Nestlé Malaysia stands about, it's essentially a great element of trust in our work, in our brands, in our products, and we are keeping that consistently generation after generation. And of course, we prepare ourselves for the future. We continue to work a lot on innovation. We continue investing. We have been investing regularly in Malaysia. We have great confidence in Malaysia, not only to develop the local business, but also as an export base to export our products to many, many countries. And we continue doing that work every day.
Yeah. What about the ease of doing the business in Malaysia?
I think it's reasonably good. I think when you look at Malaysia, you see a country which has a very good infrastructure, that has a very good access to talent and skills. So for us, it's not difficult to find the right capabilities that we need to grow the business. And also the country is extremely well connected. We are in the heart of the ASEAN region. It's 700 million people. And from here, we see an excellent base of operations for us to grow the business here, but also opportunities to export throughout the region and beyond.
So is Malaysia still a very strong market for Nestlé?
It is. I mean, we are roughly, you can say, around 1.5% of the Nestlé Group sales. That's not bad, considering that Malaysia and Singapore, which we run from here together with Brunei, it's just 38 million people. We have the privilege of having achieved one of the highest presence of Nestlé products worldwide. When you look at the sales per capita, it's really at the very high end of the comparative rankings of the Nestlé companies. And also we have, I think, this role as an important export hub for halal products. You have a lot of capabilities in halal. Our experts have a high reputation in the industry. They also train small and medium enterprises to improve their halal capabilities. And that also is a big enabler of business. No? So we are really having a great opportunity for growth also because of the halal efforts that we have.
So I understand as well from the research that's been done by the team that Nestlé Malaysia is also the biggest halal producer in the group.
Indeed, yeah. Precisely because of this, also because of the high credibility of the halal certification body of Malaysia internationally. Clearly, being Malaysian halal carries a lot of weight outside, no? And we continue working to keep that credibility with our teams very high.
Right. So looking at the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously, it has brought unprecedented challenges for many businesses. So how are you keeping your employees safe and yet continuing to operate through this current pandemic?
Well, Kelvin, an interesting thing is that we didn't have the handbook on how to handle COVID, no? So we have been learning a lot by obviously following very closely the government guidance. So clearly we have been very disciplined in that, and having clear priorities. No? When we saw all this problem coming, it was very clear that there were three things that we had to do. And first and foremost was to ensure the safety of our employees and our business partner. Second, as a supplier of essential foods, it was very important that we continue to operate, also to keep the peace of the public, to avoid panic buying, which can create big problems in the food supply chains. And third, because also our kind of relatively better situation, being able to continue operating, also exploring how we could support the community in these difficult times. I would say that everything else became a little bit accessory. And regarding on the how we have protected the safety, I think we were very early. We adopted many of the measures that then became standards. We started screening the temperature of everybody in our sites back at the end of January when we saw it coming. And step by step, we kept increasing the layers of protection people. No? So we adopted social distance, provided PPEs. If you go into one of our factories, any of them, they feel very safe because also the whole work organization has been adapted to ensure segregation by design. And we keep with that effort every day. We recently, also following the government recommendation, started to do mass screening of our employees in the factories and in the distribution center with rapid testing kits. And all that effort continues.
Okay, we'll get back to that in a very short time. We're going for a short break right now. Find us on Twitter and share your thoughts on the discussion. Welcome back to Money Matters. We're discussing business operations amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, let's move on and look at how basically things have basically changed in the group, because obviously your company is huge and a lot of it is labor intensive. Yeah. So opting to do the work from home during this time, how is your team navigating through this?
Well, I must say first that I'm extremely proud of how our teams have adapted to this situation. Working from home is not easy. First, let me say that only less than half of our workforce can work from home, no? Because the other half, more than half, is in the factories, in the distribution center. It's working in sales, so close to our customers. So for us, it was very important that all these people that does not have the option of working from home stayed safe, and that's what we covered a little bit earlier. Regarding working from home, actually it's interesting because it has been quite a smooth transition. So I think that everybody adapted to it quite naturally, which does not mean that it's easy. So we made some effort, for instance, to make sure that everybody had the right Wi-Fi connectivity. So we provided also a little bit of support to whoever needed to upgrade their Wi-Fi service at home. We provided simple things like proper chairs or desks whenever they didn't have it at home, because, you know, it's important also to ensure that people can do their job with proper ergonomy. No? It's very tough spending 8 hours a day working if you don't have a minimum layout that supports you. So we have also tried our best to leverage digital technologies to keep that sense of teams working close together. And actually it's quite amazing how much you can do through that. No? So we can now probably this second CMCO, we feel that it's a little bit tougher on everybody. I think that the first time we all were excited at this idea of working from home, but now we also feel this need of working with our colleagues, with our teams. So we are exploring how we can further bring together the people for as long as needed, given the challenges that we have.
Right. Now you talk about working with your colleagues and all. Obviously, the people at the cafes and the coffee shops here must have had some impact on your businesses with the closure or the time frame of their opening times, which basically has impacted everybody. How has it affected you?
Well, if you have seen a little bit of our announcement of results, especially in H1, we clearly were impacted by the situation in what we call the out-of-home channels, these coffee shops, restaurants. So clearly, we have a very important presence there. So that had some impact. But you know, the beauty of Nestlé Malaysia, in a way, is that our portfolio is very diverse. So basically, we cover many categories, many channels, and while we had some difficulties on these out-of-home activities, we also capture the opportunity of increase in-home consumption, because more people staying at home, that means also more people kind of eating and drinking at home. So our teams have done, I think, a pretty good job at supporting Malaysians to really navigate this challenge. Also, we have been very active, engaging digitally, giving ideas on what to cook in simple ways, because, you know, many people is not used to cook, especially with so many options in Malaysia to eat out. So all in all, I think our business, as we said in our recent announcement for the 9 months, has been very resilient, but certainly we are not immune. No, we are together with many other companies. So yeah, finding our way to navigate through these challenges.
So based on your findings, how have consumer demands changed during this time of crisis for the pandemic, and how has Nestlé adapted to this?
Clearly, a big opportunity has come with e-commerce, the e-business in general. No, people maybe was a bit hesitant to buy foods online before COVID. We have seen that that has become a little bit a new normal for many, many people. No? And we think that's going to be one of the enduring changes that will stay. No? I think that the digital business in the area of foods and beverages, I think it's here to stay. So many people has tried it and seen that it actually works. So that will be one of the changes. Beyond this, I think that it's very difficult today to predict precisely how the future is going to be looking, because some of the changes, and we saw it during the recovery CMCO, people is very willing to go back to the previous normal. So it's very difficult to assess how all this will be recalibrated once we will have a vaccine, once this second wave will subside. But certainly we see the elements of digital engagement becoming much stronger. Also the way how we communicate with consumers has changed quite dramatically.
Okay, I'll ask you when we come back from this commercial break about the importance of digital e-commerce for Nestle right after this break. In the meantime, connect with us on Twitter. Let us know what your thoughts are on working from home and its challenges. Thank you for staying with us on Money Matters. Now, Juan, looking at the importance of digital e-commerce for Nestle in Malaysia, so what are your plans moving forward?
For sure, we will continue investing and being very active in this sector. We have great partnerships with the main platforms, that we all know their names. And we also are, our brand teams are also looking more and more at data analytics as a way of reaching and targeting much better the consumers based on their interests and also based on the specificities that each one of our brands has to offer.
What are the products that you are pushing more for digital online
I would say, for instance, digital is a great way of testing new products. No? So sometimes when you launch a new product, we do some targeted activities to also ask for feedback. And I can share with you, for instance, we recently introduced peanut butter stick ice cream, delicious. But our consumers told us that actually it's not peanutty enough. So actually we are about to launch the second generation of the product, which are reinforced peanut note. No? So that's one example. I think that this possibility to access directly and ask for opinion, for feedback, engage, propose, is really something that is very exciting. And all our brand teams are very active at experimenting with this.
If you need someone to test the products, you can reach out to me as well.
Certainly.
So looking at the importance of digital e-commerce as well, how much has been set aside to boost this area?
Well, we normally don't share specifics on how much we invest here or there, but clearly has very high priority. But also, it doesn't mean it's the only priority. We take great pride on our presence across all channels, across all customer formats, and we have an amazing team that works very, very hard to meet the needs of all our customers and retailers every day. And that work will continue for sure.
Okay, let's take a look at growth now. Looking at the worldwide markets for Nestle, where is Southeast Asia, or Malaysia for that matter, as compared to your growth in China or even the US?
I think clearly, and again, leaving aside the dynamics triggered by the pandemic, clearly Southeast Asia and Malaysia is an area of growth for the company. Malaysia, as I said earlier, we have this kind of legacy of having a very strong presence, a very high per capita penetration, but still there are multiple opportunities. Just to share with you, you may remember that we announced some important investments this year. Actually, in the year of COVID, we will have the highest investment of the last 6 years, and that includes penetrating into new categories. No? We will be entering the space of plant-based meals as early as next year. And we will have here in Malaysia one of the 2 factories that will be operating in Asia, the other one being in China. So clearly, we see this part of the world as an area of great opportunity. We continue to invest, to capture those opportunities, and I would say that the future is very, very exciting for us.
Adding to what you said just now, Nestle has shared that it wants to be a business that is also a force for good by creating shared value, or CSV, for all. Can you perhaps elaborate a little bit more on this strategy?
Well, the concept is relatively simple, and we have applied for many, many years. Basically, is that to succeed in the long run, you cannot do good only as a company. You need to make good for the community, for the society where we operate. And I think Malaysia is a very good example of that. I think that we have, our work practices, our respect for compliance, our commitment for the long term through investment, the way we have built brands, our effort to provide and contribute to the nutrition of generations of Malaysian families is just a proof of that. Clearly, as we go forward, one of the areas where Nestle is working very hard, and probably is the area that we'll emphasize more going forward, is also everything related to sustainability.
Right.
I think climate change, the challenge of plastic waste, all these are topics that today may seem less relevant because of the short-term situation of COVID, but they are there, and they will define largely our success, not only as companies, but as a society in the long run.
Right. And but you said just now, many companies, to the best of our knowledge, are scaling back on expenditure due to the pandemic. So why is it important for Nestle to continue investing in CSV and sustainability, like you said?
Because, again, we are here to stay, and we are here for the long run. And we know that in a few months, when we will have vaccines, when we will not worry anymore about COVID, then the real problems, or the bigger problems, will come back. And climate change is one. You can see this year how many extreme weather episodes have happened around the world. So that's a constant reminder that we need to take action. And we are very proud, for instance, of having, we completed this year the planting of 1 million trees in East Malaysia. And we decided not to stop, but rather to double down. And we committed to plant 3 million in East Malaysia, but also in West Malaysia over the next 3 years. We make an important move for us, which is suppressing plastic straws. You know that the plastic straw is one of these insidious elements that very often ends up in the ocean. And we just transition to sustainably sourced paper straws. So I think that's what corporations, not just us, but all the large corporations have to do more and more. Right. Wherever they can take action and do something now.
On that note, thank you very much for appearing on Money Matters One.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure.
Before we go, find us on Twitter and let us know your thoughts about today's discussions. We'll be back next week with more money insights that matter. Till then, I'm Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah. Thanks for watching and stay safe.